Shut up and sit down.
Hey, I'm Simon.
I'm Ellie.
And we're having a couple of drinks tonight that are called...
The Golden Goose.
And why are they called the Golden Goose?
Because golden eggs, I don't know.
No, I was going to say they're the gift that keeps on giving, but...
yeah, let's go for that.
That's fine. And if you like our videos, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell thing over by there. That would be very nice of you. And we're drinking these Golden Gooses and surprising each other with movie trailers that the other person has not yet seen.
So what do we have next?
Well, next up, this is a funny one because it's a documentary, a movie that was made by two really, really good friends of ours, just dear friends of ours. And I've seen the movie, I think, maybe 4 times, maybe more. I don't think you've ever seen the movie.
Not all the way through, no.
And I'm in it. Just for a brief moment, I am in this documentary, and it requires some explanation, but essentially, when we moved to New York, I was kind of struck, not in a good way, by, especially when I was walking to the train station at Grand Central, I would see homeless people just laying by the side of the street, and incredibly rich people just walking by and not even looking at them. Like, it wasn't even like they were human beings. And I was so shocked by that. And at the same time, we watched a documentary about so-called real-life superheroes. And there was one guy in New York who mostly seemed to be going around giving stuff to homeless people. So I said, you know what, I'll send this guy a Facebook message, see if he's still around. And so I send this guy who's calling himself Dark Guardian a Facebook message and saying, hey, you know, maybe I'll come help you out sometime. And I get a response back in about 30 seconds saying, well, I'm out in town right now. Do you want to come join me? So, like, within a heartbeat, I'm in the middle of the West Village, walking around the different parks with a guy who's wearing black and red, like, motorcycle armor. And he was awesome. Like, he was just a great person to hang out with. Showed me a lot of New York, helped a lot of people, and through him I got to know other people in that community who called themselves real-life superheroes. That summer, around 2015, I think it was the year where they were legalizing same-sex marriage in New York, and there were a string, because of that, there were a string of anti-LGBT hate crimes in the city that culminated in one person getting murdered, sadly. So we decided to actually put on a series of free self-defense classes for the LGBT community in parks. It was very kind of Cobra Kai. And we would sometimes have 100+ people turn up in these parks. Just an incredible sense of community. We ended up being picked up on Real Time with Bill Maher, who was making jokes about us and giving us stupid superhero names. He called me Wonder Woman because I had long hair and you wondered if I was a woman. That was very woke, Bill Maher, you penis. And we ended up being asked if we would run security for an LGBT group that was linked to the Stonewall Inn during the Pride Parade that year. So I got to meet some really, really awesome people. Honestly, I also got to meet some people who were obsessed with this superhero image and took it too far and were not the best people I've ever worked with. But generally, I got to meet people who were very altruistic, going out of their way to meet and help people who really needed help. So I don't regret being involved in it. I'm not terribly active in that community anymore. However, I got to meet Denise Masino, also known as Miss Fit, who runs a team of superheroes who every single year, including 2020, run some kind of an event to raise money for kids with cancer, the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I think we've run 6 years in a row now, maybe, with Denise's team, raised well over $100,000 for the kids of St. Jude's. And it's just been an incredible experience being paired up with them. So all of that preamble is just to tell you that Denise is awesome, as is her husband Greg. You've been involved in the homeless outreach, in the Warrior Dash events that we've done with them as well, so you've seen it firsthand. But I would love for you to see the trailer for Denise's documentary that you've somehow avoided watching up until now.
I know how.
And we will stick around afterwards and let you know what we thought about it.
Let's go.
Now I'm going to let you watch the trailer and decide for yourself. Take it away.
Well, let's go.
I grew up in the projects at the end of Coney Island, and it was literally a dead end. I went to a gym, and my life totally changed. I think I always fantasized about being a superhero. So one day I'm reading a story about this guy. He calls himself a real-life superhero, and he goes out on the streets and he fights crime. So I decided to dig a little deeper. Are they vigilantes? Are they cosplayers? Yeah, I don't know. So I'm really interested in finding one of these guys and asking them why. I think the biggest question is, why did you decide to become a superhero?
I guess you'd call it a Lord of the Rings type quest.
No trouble, I'm just gonna leave, all right?
I'm probably gonna push you a little bit against your limits.
He's really cool. He kind of reminds me of like a Spider-Man.
Oh no.
I need hands over here.
I think it's amazing what they do.
We've picked up 3,000 needles just like these. This is a school.
We all need inspiration. We all need help. These are super good heroes.
But you have to wonder whether or not it's a good idea to be running around with pepper spray and tasers. You're looking for trouble. Trouble's gonna find you. I wondered if I had what it takes. Could I do it? And more importantly, should I?
If you were a superhero, what would you call yourself?
Oh gosh, I guess it would have to be Misfit.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I get myself into?
I would not do that. So, you have just seen the trailer for The Adventures of Misfit. What did you think?
So I still think Denise is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world because she always is so positive and optimistic, and she listens to everybody. Like, we've hung out a ton, and just, you know, you just get to that stage of the day when you're just kind of venting and none of it, like, you just need to get it out. She is so patient and just listens all the time. And that just comes across so much in this trailer, that she's not kind of telling, like, I mean, clearly she's incredible. Like, look at her. She's incredibly powerful. She's got so much to tell anybody. Like, everyone has so much to learn from her. And yet, you can tell from that trailer that what she actually does is just listen. She lets people tell her where they're at. And I love that. You don't get that much from people. Just kind of like being quiet and just letting you tell her where you're at.
Yeah, that's a really interesting observation. I first met Denise via a radio show or like a podcast that I was co-hosting, and it was all on the theme of real life superheroes. And Denise came on to talk about the Warrior Dash event that she was planning for that time. It was in Tennessee. And it was October 10th in Tennessee. And I was gushing about, wow, that sounds amazing. I'd love to do that. And she said, okay, you're on the team. And I suddenly thought, oh, holy crap. I've never done a Spartan race. I've never done obstacle courses. I'm way out of shape. And it empowered me, like seeing Denise's strength. And she leads by example. She is, like you say, she's so physically strong, but also mentally and emotionally intelligent that she leads by example by just inspiring you to do better than you otherwise would. And that happened to me that year. I trained like crazy, probably 10 times harder than I needed to for a Warrior Dash, got in awesome shape and just felt great about myself. And it was all because of that event. And we raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the kids of St. Jude. So that was an amazing experience. But to your point, I remember meeting Denise for the first time and thinking, wow, she's like a celebrity. She's a Miss Olympia runner-up. Like, she's been a bodybuilding celebrity, and thinking, I mean, she seems really nice, but she's never going to have time for us. And then, I think that time we hung out a bunch. The following time we sat in our hotel room with her for ages and just chatted. And it just blew me away how much time she had to listen. Like you said, that was incredible.
I feel like people I've heard people described as, like, when you spend time with them, you feel like you're the only person in the world. And I hadn't experienced that until I met Denise. And she really is unique in that way, that you feel like you're the most important person in her life for the however long you spend with her, whether you spend the day with her or whether you're chatting to her for 5 minutes. She just gives you that full-on attention that you just feel like whatever you got to say, she's just there to hear it. Like, she's got nothing better to do than just hear whatever you have to say, and it makes you feel incredible. Just her being, I don't know, she's just got this gift. She just makes everyone feel special. Just being around her, you feel special.
You know, what I would say, though, is I love the honesty in this documentary, and I think everybody in this documentary is treated fairly, but they're treated with honesty, and the way they portray themselves comes across. So if you have people who really want to be vigilantes, they come across as people who want to be vigilantes. If you have people who genuinely, selflessly want to help people, they come across in that manner in the documentary. And I felt exactly the same when I was meeting people in that community. There were people I met that I instinctively thought, this person just wants to be a ninja Batman. Like, that's all they want. They want to be Batman. They want to be on Facebook posting about how they lurk around in alleys, or they want to be trolling people, and they want this whole kind of a social media drama, and they want to post photos of themselves in some suit that they've spent months making, and spent a lot of money on. Like, if that's what they're interested in, fair due to them. They can go ahead and do that, but they're not superheroes in any way. They're basically a cosplayer. On the other hand, you meet people who genuinely, to the homeless people that they're helping, they are superheroes to those people. I've seen people break down in tears at getting a box of tissues or a protein bar. It's so moving to see the work that these people do. So, and sadly, some of the people in this documentary are no longer with us. There are people who have sadly passed on. So, I think, it didn't just treat people with care, but it also treated people with integrity. And it's that kind of Maya Angelou saying of when people tell you who they are, believe them. Who people say they are comes across in this documentary, and whether we whether we like that or not. And what I love about the way the documentary kind of takes you on a journey as well is it starts with this skepticism, like, who are these people who are showing me kicks on a roof and talking about stopping pedophiles and things, and then this person who looks a bit like Spider-Man but then falls down and injures himself. Not that heroic. However, when you kind of see the efforts of the Hope Project towards the end of the documentary, helping thousands and thousands of people who really need it, that is genuinely heroic. I don't think anyone can argue with that. And I think the fact that it takes you on this journey where you're kind of feeling like, I don't know, this is kind of weird, I'm not really sure if I'm on board with this. Towards the end, you're like, hell yes, I'm on board with this. I support this fully. That's some really quality storytelling, and I think that's a credit to Denise in terms of, hunting down these stories and coaxing them out of people, but also Denise's husband Greg in terms of actually, editing and directing and building this story as well. So to me, it's a perfect story and a perfect editing that kind of bring this together. So there we are. That is our reaction to the trailer for The Adventures of Misfit. Next up, we're going to watch the documentary for The Adventures of Misfit, give you a full breakdown and review if I haven't spoiled all of it already for you and bored you with my own boring stories. And then we're going to do a live interview with Denise Misfit herself and with her husband Greg, who runs Llama Pictures, who put this documentary together.
So looking forward to hanging out with them again.
Oh my God.
Even though it's only virtual,
yes,
being able to see their faces.
Yes, exactly. Denise has a smile that is so infectious, as well as, all the other good stuff we've said. Just being on Zoom or some kind of instant meeting with Denise is a pleasure.
So this is our gift to you. You get to see more Denise.
Yes, exactly.
And Greg's fine too.
Yes, he is.
Sorry, Greg.
Well, friends, we hope you go check out The Adventures of Misfits for Life. The main thing I forgot to say is every episode is on YouTube. So where they've been saying, go to Amazon Prime, you don't even need to do that. We're going to put all of the links to the episodes here. Go watch it yourself. You don't even need our review, but come back for our review because it'll be good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Inside scoop.
Yeah, well, we will see you then, friends, because we do this
every day. Every damn day.
On the next Drunk Trailer Ambush.
Stay pumped, nuts.
Bye.
Shut up and sit down.